You know the drill. New review, new movie just came out this past weekend. So the first half of the review is going to be non-spoiler. The second half is going to be spoiler. So let's go ahead and hop into it. On this episode, movie breakdowns, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And if the review you want me to do, let me know. Please put in the comment section below. I get to it as best I can. Also Patreon/Ali Zakka. And for $2 a month, get the cut in front of everybody. Get your review out before it comes out on Facebook and YouTube. Now let's go ahead and get into 2022's Wakanda Forever, Black Panther 2. And what is this movie about? So this movie is about the passing of T'Challa as the kingdom of Wakanda tries to get over the death of their king and move on, but at the same time a new threat has arisen from the ocean to try to stake their claim and wage war against the mainland. And the Wakandans have to find a way to stop this threat, but at the same time get over the loss of their sudden king. And that is the gist of Wakanda Forever, Black Panther 2. And I enjoyed this movie. I had fun. I had a good time. The first thing that comes to mind about this movie when I think about it is the acting. The actors act their butts off in this movie. I mean, they go all in. Angela Bassett, she has an amazing scene in this movie in multiple situations where you're like, oh my gosh, I felt that. Letitia, I believe Letitia, could be wrong, I'll get to it later, I have the character's name right, but Letitia Wright, when she does her acting and the scenes where she's breaking down, you feel the energy and the emotions from the actors and actresses in this movie, and it's written that way because they're all mourning the death of T'Challa. And part of me thinks when there's certain scenes where Ryan Coogler, who is the director of it and wrote in the movie, if you didn't know, he actually had most of this movie done before the passing of T'Challa, the passing of Chadwick Boseman. Sorry, I just forgot his name. Rest in peace. For his passing, like the movie's already done for the most part. Like the writing of it, they knew where it was going to go, and then he passed away. He had to rewrite everything and redo everything and reshoot this movie and rework on the movie. So the passing of Chadwick Boseman, which was a very tragic thing that nobody saw coming, like we didn't know he was suffering from cancer. The movie is a huge homage to him, and they tip their hat to him. And the opening, you see this in the trailer, is about his passing. Now, part of me didn't like the fact that they focused so much on T'Challa, on Chadwick Boseman passing, because it felt like they merged real life a lot into this movie. But it was a good tribute to Chadwick's passing, and then on top of that, when certain characters was actually like breaking down, it almost felt like the actors and actresses themselves were legit mourning Chadwick. It wasn't like this was a Marvel movie. It was like we had a movie, we was working with a friend we known for years, and his sudden passing has hurt us all, and this is like our way to give back and pay tribute to him. So it was really, really good. As far as the acting goes in this movie from everybody, even Namor, who you see in the trailer, his acting is great, and like his delivery to this movie is great, and his pacing and talking and cadence in the movie is great, and it is just acting across the board in this movie was phenomenal, like so good. And the music in this movie also adds to it. When there's certain scenes, it adds tension to the movie. The music is played at the right time, the right moments, and you're like, oh my god, yes! Like, it is so good. Now, the main story is about grief, but it's also about vengeance too. You have characters who feel hurt by the fact they couldn't save their king, or feel hurt that the world has turned against them, or feel like the world turned against them, and they feel rage and anger and just don't know what to believe in tradition, don't know what to believe in science, or who to go to, how come we couldn't do this. So there's a lot of vengeance and pain in this movie as well. And you also have that same experience when it comes to Namor. He also feels the same way. So you have two people or two sides who have the same ideals, and they're butting heads with each other. I don't know if it's not really similar to the first Black Panther, but the idea that the thought of I'm gonna do what's right for my people comes back around in this movie as well, and you see that from the same sides as well. But I feel like the first Black Panther hit it harder, while this was had a little more with grief in it. It's a different story in its own. Another thing I like about this movie is the world building. The world building in this movie is huge. So you get all of Wakanda. You also get other parts of the world, as far as like South America and Central America. You get a lot of parts of that. You get the United States in this movie. You get a lot of world building. Gets add more pieces to the Marvel universe. So now you know, like, there's things that go on, not just United States or Europe. You get it in Africa, you get it in South America and Central America and United States. I just love how this world building for the Marvel universe just keeps growing bigger and bigger and bigger, and just like it makes you feel like the Marvel universe is not just one specific location like New York City, but it's huge. It's a lot bigger than just that, and this movie adds more to that. And I'm really curious to see how this goes further in the future when it comes to the MCU and the character Namor and the Atlanteans, because they're in the trailer, so the Atlanteans in this movie as well. And they're not called Atlanteans in this movie, they're called like Talkoa or Talcon. But it's Atlantis is what Namor's a king of. And this movie definitely shows you that, and shows you what it's like. Another thing that threw me off when I was watching was the blue people, because Avatar is coming out in December, and you get the blue people in this movie, and I just thought like, it's just timing at the time that this movie came out, and Avatar is coming out. There's blue people in this movie who also underwater, so underwater blue people, but it was great. Let's go ahead and talk about my dislikes, which this movie's 2 hours and 41 minutes long. I didn't like the fact it was that long. It didn't feel like that, but you can tell there's parts of it. And the beginning part of the movie is kind of slow. I don't understand its build up, but they really hit hard after the tribute to Boseman. They really hit hard on more of that, and then bringing in another character into the movie, and you're like, okay, we're going down this route. We're going down this route. We've seen this before, and just a little slower build until you hit like the second act where you're like, okay, this is different. I don't know how this is going to finish. Matter of fact, I did not know how this movie is going to end, and I love that when you watch a movie, you're not sure how the trope is going to play out, the story or the message behind the story you've seen before, but you do not know how it's going to play out. Love it. And at the end of the movie, I was like, I genuinely wanted more to this movie. You know, I said 2 hours and 41 minutes is long, but when you hit the ending part and the finish of it, you want more. You want to see, like, please, here's how this goes next. What's the next stage? Because the beginning of it's kind of slow, but when it takes off, you're like, I do not want 2 hours and 41 minutes, but I want more of this storyline here. And maybe part of it is they could have edited some things out. When they were setting up other stuff, you know how the Marvel do, they set up other stuff. So maybe they could have edited some things out where the 2 hours and 41 minutes could have been put towards this story versus this story. And that's pretty much my likes and dislikes. Let's go ahead and get into the cast and director. So Black Panther Wakanda Forever is 2 hours and 41 minutes, PG-13. The director is Ryan Coogler, who worked on, you know, the first Black Panther. He's also worked on the screenplay, and so did Joe Robert Cole worked on the screenplay. The box office, I don't think we got that right now because it just came out, so it's still making money. So we're not talking about the box office. But the cast, so you have Letitia Wright, phenomenal. Like, she went from being a side character to being the main character in this, and she works really, really well. Like, her acting, her presence when it comes to frustration and anger, but her happiness and joy, she brings this character to the right. Shuri is Letitia Wright, who playing Shuri. Like, you feel more for Shuri. You want her to be more of a main character in this movie and more main character in the Black Panther and the Marvel universe. Matter of fact, another thing I want to give props to in this movie, that this is a pretty much female-driven cast with no love relationship in it. I love that. Most of the time you get a superhero movie where, like, you gotta have a romance character. Captain Marvel didn't do it, which I give him props to that. I love that. But this was another one who, strong cast, mostly female, kicking butt, no love relationship, no like trying to make somebody like this is her romance partner, this is her romance. No, none of that. It was literally like, this is what we're going through, this is our turmoil, and let's move on. Let's try to accept and get over this and just move on and live a better life. There was nothing like, oh my gosh, there's a guy over here or some girl over here who need my love and attention and they won't notice me. There was none of that in this movie. You had a main character who was simply about to go, ejective and kicking butt, and I loved it. I loved it. Like, I was watching, it's like, yes, this cast is freaking phenomenal. Lupita Nyong'o, who played Nikita, she's in the trailer. She comes back. She does great when she's on screen. Good job for her. Danai Gurira, sorry I missed your last name, who played Okoye. So good. Okoye has been good at everything she's been in. Like, Danai, who played Okoye, has been good at everything she's been in. And she has strong scenes in this movie as well. And you're like, oh, you feel for Okoye at times, and you want more for Okoye, and she became less of a like warrior type character and more of a character who has more dimensions to her. Love it. I love the writing for her. I love the acting by Danai. Great. Winston Duke, who played M'Baku. M'Baku's more of a side character in this movie, but he had moments when he's like giving Shuri advice, and there's a scene in this movie where I thought was a cool poster scene or background scene for your laptop or cell phone where Shuri and M'Baku's having a conversation, and M'Baku, who, you know, kind of like the brawler brute kind of character, who's like, no, I'm giving some guidance, giving some words of wisdom here, and there's a scene where he sits down and how big he is compared to Shuri. The dynamic behind that scene was, but that scene was a powerful scene too. I mean, the acting in this movie is phenomenal. Angela Bassett, who plays Queen Ramonda, so good. So good. There's a few scenes in this movie where she drops some like, I gotta talk about it in the spoiler section, because she really hits it when it comes to her pain and her grief and her sorrow and her trying to move on and her trying to connect with her family. Angela Bassett goes all in and just delivers a stellar performance in this movie. In the music score, when it comes to these performances, so good. So good. I'm gonna mess this guy's name up, I'm sorry. Tenoch Huerta Major, who plays Namor. Tenoch, who played Namor. Namor Huerta Major, who plays Namor. Great work from him. I thought he did a good job. He was a well-written character who pretty much wanted to protect his people, and at the same time, like, was going to do anything possible to get it done, but also is threatening and menacing and just super powerful. And the CGI for Namor in this movie I thought was good. I thought they really worked a good job on him in this movie, making it believable how he can fly in the air and how he glides and moves and has attacks are. Great work. And the final fight scene with him was really good as well. Tenoch did a good job delivering Namor, making him threatening, but at the same time, somebody you can kind of like, you're not a bad person, but you're also scary. And I feel like Namor has always been that character. I feel like he's always been like a threatening character. Even in the video games, I was like, you don't like Namor. Like, you don't trust him. He seemed like he'd be off his rocker at any time. But good job from Tenoch bringing Namor to the big screen. And Martin Freeman, who plays Everett Ross, good work from him. Really don't have anything else to say. That's about it for the main cast. I'll talk more about the cast in the spoilers section. Now, any other thoughts? The music was great. I keep raving about the music. The CGI was really good in this movie. Thought that was some good work. And there's a lot of CGI in this movie, but they make it work really, really well. The fight scene choreography in this movie is really good as well. You'll be like loving some stuff. But also the storyline in this movie is strong. It's a strong storyline besides the beginning, which can be a little bit slow. And some of the parts with Martin Freeman in it is kind of like But the main storyline was really, really good. And it really hits. And when they give out the tribute to Chadwick Boseman, you're kind of like, my heart. But it's done so well, and the beginning of it to the end of it, how it wraps back around, just good work. Is this a movie you should see in theaters? Yes, go watch Black Panther Wakanda Forever in theaters. It's worth the watch. It's not like your other Marvel movies. You'll be very surprised by this one. And grading time. I'm going to grade Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. I'm going to give this movie a B+, an 89%. This movie gets an 89% for me. The length kind of hurts it a little bit. Some of Martin Freeman's scenes are kind of off. Like, you can cut them out. And the first part of the movie is kind of slow, but after that, it's really, really good. The acting in this movie is phenomenal. It's just top-notch work. Like, they delivered. This cast came in, they had a plan. They was like, this is not just a movie, it's a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, and they delivered. So this movie gets an 89% from me. Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb gives this movie a 7.4 out of 10. That's a C. And Rotten Tomatoes give this movie a 84% by the critics. That is a B. And the audience gives this movie a 95%, which is an A. I give this a 89%, a B plus. So they're all around the same spot besides IMDb. They're kind of a little off on the rockers, but whatever. But yeah, that is the conversation. That's my review, non-spoiler, of Wakanda Forever, Black Panther 2. If you've seen it, what do you think? Non-spoiler section, put in the comment section below. And then we're gonna hit the spoilers. We'll do it in 3, 2, 1. Spoiler time. So the few spoilers I want to talk about here is the main story. It starts off with a protection story. So you have the Samaritans, the Atlanteans. They're finding United States machines looking for vibranium in the ocean. They're finding it in the ocean, and they find this machine that's like, okay, the humans are getting too close, but the land dwellers are getting too close. They're getting about to find vibranium. Once they find vibranium, they're going to try and wage war on our land. So the Atlanteans decide to destroy this, attack the humans, attack the United States government. The United States government is thinking that it is Wakandans who are attacking their mining for vibranium, because vibranium for the longest time was only to be mint and found in Wakanda. Well, fun fact, it's not. It's actually in Central America as well, because Namor the Samaritan and his ancestors found vibranium, and his family found this, so they've been living forever but underneath the sea. They ate vibranium, got turned into Samaritans, got turned into Atlanteans, and had lived underneath the water. So they became water people, Atlanteans, and created a kingdom underneath the water. And Namor understands that if you use vibranium, it can be used to cause, destruction to other people. And so does the Wakandans. At the beginning of the movie, you have a French mercenary group trying to take over a Wakandan outpost, and Okoye and the warriors kick their butts. Amazing scene, by the way. Great introduction in this movie, by the way. So the Wakandans are telling the world, leave our stuff alone. We're not going to allow you guys to get vibranium because you guys have been destructive with it. Leave our stuff alone. Okay? You good? You good? Fine. Leave our stuff alone. And Namor and the Atlanteans are like the same way. They're like, do not mess with our stuff. If you mess with our stuff, we're going to come for you and we're going to destroy everything you love. Well, because of this conflict of the United States blaming the Wakandans that, hey, you guys are messing with, our stuff, and the Wakandans like, we're not messing with it. Namor finds the Wakandans. He just sneaks up in Wakanda and is like, hey, you guys gonna help me out, because you people are interfering in our territory, in our land, our water. If y'all keep doing this, we're gonna wage war against y'all. And he's like, I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity because you guys have, vibranium as well. Give me the scientists who made this machine. Give me that scientist, and I won't mess with y'all. A life for our land. So Siri and Okoye goes and finds this scientist, which is what I thought was protection storyline. Like, oh, they're out to protect Riri Williams. I believe Riri Williams. Riri, who is Ironheart, who is played by Dominique Throm, who, by the way, does a great job as Riri. She's like a United States 19-year-old kid in college who pretty much freaks out and geeks out over every little thing that's happening, while Siri and Okoye is like, oh, we've done it before, no big deal. She's like, what is this? It's Wakanda. Oh my gosh, the princess is here. Oh my god, like, she's geeking out. But as they go try to protect her, the United States government sends troops after Okoye and Siri and Riri. Riri put the Iron Man suits on, she get Ironheart suit. But this is the scientists they're going after. And the Atlanteans find Shuri, Riri, and Okoye. Cool fight scene on the bridge. Takes Riri and takes Shuri, which causes Wakanda to just lose it on Okoye. She's like, I lost my son. You betrayed me when Killmonger came in and they took my daughter. I had nothing left to give. You're gonna get stripped of your title. Okay, like, don't do this, my queen. She's like, no, you're getting stripped. You're a civilian. And Okoye's like, oh, that scene when the music changed and they're going at it. Oh my gosh, so good. So Shuri ended up being survives, and her and Namor pretty much get to see Atlanta and Namor, Atlantis, not Atlanta, but Atlantis, and Namor is kind of like trying to make a bond with Shuri and say, maybe we can work together, and when this time comes, you protect. When I take the land, we'll spare Wakanda. And Shuri's like, no, we can't do this. But Shuri is also suffering. She is upset that she cannot save her brother. At the beginning of the movie, she thought that her science can save T'Challa, and it didn't. He actually, passes away, which I wish the movie just said, like, he passed away from cancer, like bringing reality into the real world, reality into the movie, but they didn't do that. Just say he died of an illness, a sudden illness out of nowhere. And Shuri is like suffering, and she's trying to deal with all this, but at the same time protect this girl who, the government is after and the Samaritans are after, and she's trying to do all this stuff, but she's also fighting her inner battle of like letting her brother go, and at the same time deal with the frustration and anger that like she lost her brother, she couldn't save her, and then she loses her mother when Namor decided to attack Wakanda because Nikita was told by Ramonda to get Shuri back anything necessary, so she killed 2 Samaritans, 2 Atlanteans, and that caused a battle scene that was pretty cool where the Samaritans just came up and just destroyed everything and causes, just destruction of Wakanda. So Shuri's now dealing with more anger and just more frustration and losing it more. So this movie went from being a movie about protect the, scientists. It ended up changing to the inner turmoil between Shuri's anger, rage, and what's right and what's wrong. And she decides to like pretty much go down the path of vengeance and just like, I'm going to kill everything, watch the world burn. And Namor's like, you want to watch the world burn? I want to watch the world burn. Why don't we watch the world burn together? Join me. But no, it doesn't happen that way. But it does get to the point where Shuri almost joined the dark side. She almost like, I'm about to kill this guy, hands down, where she decides to make the plant that gives people Black Panther the ability. She makes that plant using 3D printing. She makes the plant using 3D printing. It works. She takes it. She gets the power of Black Panther. But when she goes to the astral world or astral projection, forget the name of the astral plane or the ancestral plane. When she goes to the ancestral plane, she meets not T'Challa, not Ramonda, but Killmonger. And I love it. It was an amazing scene between Killmonger and Michael B. Jordan giving his, oh my gosh, killer performance as Killmonger again. Coming back, and him and Shuri are going at it in this scene. And Shuri's like, I'm not like you. And Michael B. Jordan's like, hey, you think you ain't, but are you gonna be like me? Where I'm just gonna get the job done? Or be like your brother, to be noble. And that scene was powerful, and she ended up coming back. It works. She gets the strength of the Black Panther, and she ended up taking the yellow suit, which showed you like Black Panther, T'Challa has a purple suit, she has a yellow suit. So I'm wondering if yellow means more rage and anger. And they finally come to the final fight scene, which didn't really make sense. They decided to fight the Samaritans on water, on a ship on water, which they, thrive in. This is thriving. This is their playing field. So meet them on land. I do like how they try to beat Submariner using like heat and dry his skin out. I love that. That concept was kind of cool. It doesn't work. It kind of weakens him, which allows Shuri and Namor to go back and forth in a battle, back at each other. And that scene, like them legit going at it, like Shuri gets stabbed and she pulls like a rod through her body. Just some good work. And she has a point where Namor is about to die, and she's like about to kill him, and she saves his life. So he's yield. And we'll come to a conclusion on this. We'll have to kill each other and start a blood war. Because M'Baku's like, you can kill Namor, but they call him Kukulkan, the feather serpent god. He's a god to his people. If you kill him, they're going to wage war unlike no other. And I don't want to go to war. Not for my people. Not for my people. And Shuri's like, fuck your people. Sorry, I just I'm not gonna beat that out. It is what it is. Spoiler section. But she was like, forget your people. And Shuri had that energy in that movie. She had burn the world, watch it burn. But she's like, forget your people. I'm getting my vengeance. And M'Baku's like, we're gonna die. This is it. But Shuri comes to her senses at the end of the movie. She has a flashback to her mom, to her brother, and everything goes on, and decide not to kill Samaritan, and flashback to Samaritan, seeing the world underneath the water, and she's like, I can't do it, just yield, and we'll come to conclude like a treaty, a peace treaty at this point in time. And he does it for his people. Namor, who considers dude who never yields, does it for his people to protect his people. But Namor's like, you know what? We're gonna have a revisit to this in the future. This is not the end. When time comes, Wakanda's gonna help us burn the world. And I'm like, okay, this dude is all about him. Like what Namor's about him and his people. Screw everybody else. Outsiders are not welcome. And why do he has that? Like, he had a thing where, similar to Killmonger, where he watched his people enslaved. He is a Central American. I don't know, not Mayan. He is, in this movie, he is definitely Central American, but I don't know what culture. But he's like, I watched my people get enslaved as well, and by the Spanish, and I'm not gonna let that happen. I watched the Spanish flu, smallpox kill my people off. We're not about to do this again. Like we're not about to do this by the what's the conquistadors, the Spanish conquestors. He's like, we're not about to do this. My people were protected, and God might not come to Atlanta and take over my people for my resources, for our resources. Nah. So like his thing, the same as Wakanda don't want to let people outsiders into Wakanda because they're going to take the resource and try to use it as create weapons of mass destruction. He's the same way. However, he's like, before you get the chance to think about that, I'm going to take you out versus just protect and hold off. But Namor's reason into this was really good. But he was like, the time comes, Wakanda's going to help us out, and we're going to burn the world. And I'm like, this dude is on a tyrant, but he's the king of, he want to protect his people, so it makes sense, but he's going about it the wrong way. However, I don't consider him a villain. I consider him a anti-hero or a antagonist in this movie, because he's not really doing anything that's like, I know, I guess at the beginning of the movie, the Atlanteans did slaughter a whole crew of American ships, American ship that was trying to mine vibranium. So no, his people wasn't really doing anything. They didn't do anything right. They should have captured him and like kept him alive. No, they was like, we're drowning all of them. Burn the world. This dude really want to burn the world. But yeah, I love the way this ending fight happened. I didn't know how the fight was going to break down. I didn't see it coming, and I love the way they did it. I think the storyline was really, really good in this movie. Now, the stuff I would have took out was Martin Freeman stuff with him trying to figure out what's going on with Wakanda and the government, and they introduced a new lady. I don't really know who she is, but she's apparently the head of one of the head of the departments of like Central Intelligence, like that. Not CIA, but like kind of like Foreign Affairs. She's the head of it, and she pretty much, keeping an eye on Martin Freeman. Martin Freeman's not letting everybody know what's going on because Wakanda won't tell him what's going on, because if you mention the word Namor and tell Americans about Namor, he's going to come and just destroy everybody, which he does anyway. So they could just told Americans that Namor and Samaritan exist, but they didn't. They kept the secret, and we'll see what happens in the future on that. Any other thoughts? Oh, yes. So Namor's a mutant, so we get mutants involved into the universe now. So we heard about this, but it's finally confirmed on screen that Namor's a mutant. And then to add to that, the spoiler scene, or the after credit scene, T'Challa and Nikita has a kid who's 6 years old now. He is Prince T'Challa. So T'Challa has a kid who got a new Black Panther who's gonna take the throne, but he's not ready for the throne yet. But there'll be a new king taking over, and as far as the future goes for Black Panther, I'm not sure they're gonna do a time skip so that way he's older to be the new Black Panther, or just keep, Letitia Wright, Shuri's as Black Panther. M'Baku does challenge for the throne because Shuri doesn't want the throne. She's like, F it, I'm out. So we'll see what happens going forward with that. And then there's not a second after credit scene, it just says Black Panther will return. So that's all the spoilers I have. That's everything I want to talk about. If you've seen Wakanda Forever, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below on that. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Movie Breakdowns, and keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode movie breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all and keep being awesome.